Looks like we have a bonus entry. As it turns out, Iwatani did directly work on more than 3 Pac-Man games, but this one, as you can see, was more of a spin-off title. But, to be thorough, I will cover it. Pac-Land was the first side-scrolling platformer in the series and an early example of the modern platformer overall. Since the Hanna-Barbera produced Pac-Man television series was successfully capitalizing on the brand during the early 1980s, at one point 56% of the American television audience had watched it, Namco proposed to programmer Yoshihiro Kishimoto to create an arcade game to cash in on the series after the lackluster results of their own Pac-Man sequels. The influence from the TV series can be easily seen with many of the key characters wearing hats and the ghosts turning purple instead of blue. This influence is even more apparent in the American version as Pac-Man's and Miss Pac-Man sprites have been altered to resemble their animated counterparts, along with the replacement of 2 fairies with Chomp Chomp and Sourpuss at the end of each level. For this game, Iwatani served as a producer and was also involved in helping the gameplay get approved as the sales team at Namco wasn't sure what to make of it as a result of platformers like this being uncommon at the time. Iwatani and the team drew the levels onto long scrolls of paper to illustrate to them how the screen progresses along the level layouts. The development team Namco Development Division 1, who worked on Iwatani's level ravel, was very dedicated to capturing the look and feel of the TV series as much as they could. Kishimoto, who is credited in the game under his nickname Kissy, opted to give the characters' animations consisting of 24 frames, the animation industry standard for frame rate, in an effort to make the movements more believable, as other games at the time had 2 or 3 frames for movements which Kishimoto and his team found to be choppy and unconvincing. The animations were the most challenging part of the game's development, but Division 1, which consisted of Kishimoto, designer Tsukasa Negoro, artist Hiroshi Ono, planner Seiichi Sato, and hardware engineers Toru Ogawa and Shigeru Sato, were determined to see it through to make it faithful to the cartoon series. The colorful backgrounds in the game were made to stand out to complement the development team's approach to recreating the show's aesthetic. Finally, the team went as far as to create an entirely new system board, simply named the Namco Pac-Land board, to support the visuals with the addition of parallax scrolling, a technique that allowed the addition of multiple perspective layers and to adjust the scrolling speed for each layer depending how figuratively close they were to the camera, in an effort to emulate the effective animator's use of graphical layers. Pac-Land was designed around a unique control setup where the buttons for left and right made Pac-Man gain momentum when tapped repeatedly. Kishimoto based these controls off Konami's track and field, which he found to be intriguing and thought it would help Pac-Land set itself apart from other arcade titles. Dig Dug composer YURIKO KEINO, credited as Yuri, was assigned to work on the music, and she developed a faithful 8-bit rendition of the cartoon's theme song.
Pac-Man, that's me!
along with other tunes such as The Castle, a rendition of background music from the show, and original ones like the Ferry and Return Trip themes. Despite never coming close to the success of the original Pac-Man, a admittedly very hard feat to pull off, it nevertheless was reasonably well received and influential to the field of Japanese gaming. Its arcade board, for example, became the basis for other classic Namco titles such as Sky Kid and Metrocross. Another reason this game was highlighted in this video is because of a statement by Iwatani where he declared it to be one of his favorite Pac-Man sequels out of all the Pac-Man games he worked on for its unique, thoughtful gameplay, while pioneering and expanding upon elements that would become staples of side-scrolling action games. In fact, in private conversations, Shigeru Miyamoto personally told Iwatani that Pac-Land was a source of inspiration for him for the design of his landmark game, Super Mario Bros. With Pac-Land as the first official game to depart from the series' maze gameplay, it opened up the franchise into experimenting into other genres like puzzle and party games. Finally, it could be argued that Pac-Land solidified the series from something less abstract and into something more realized and concrete by establishing a definable world and anthropomorphic in-game designs for its core cast, which would serve as a basis of sorts for future games like Pac-Man World.